Welcome to Fandom of the Opera, Paradox Opera's new podcast where we talk about opera, fandom, and everything in between. We are your hosts, Alissa.
And Gwen.
And something's about to happen.
That's true.
Hi, friends. You may recall in our last episode that I was ill. And I'm kind of still ill, and I'm tired of it. So
yeah. That's
cool.
Deeply homophobic.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, I guess.
Great.
Like from a health perspective.
Oh, okay.
You know, from a mental, emotional standpoint, I'm a fucking dumpster fire, but that's always been true.
Who's not these days?
That's
honestly. So, last week we came in here with the hottest of hot takes, perhaps. I mean, hopefully a lot of people agreed with us, but I'm sure there are a lot of people who think they were literally on fire. They were so hot. So, today we're gonna...
In case our position was not made clear last episode, fuck AI forever.
Yeah.
And ever. Amen.
Probably. I mean, forever's a long time.
Fuck this current version of generative AI.
Yeah.
Forever and ever.
I'm not so, like, closed-minded that... I'm not calling you closed-minded. But I'm not so closed-minded that I'm gonna say, like, the horrible things that are happening right now are going to happen forever. Because there is some possible future where someone invents something that could potentially be called AI, whatever it may actually be, that doesn't do all the horrible things that the current ones do and could actually benefit humanity. Do I think that's going to happen in the near future? No.
When are they going to invent a new version of humanity that doesn't do all the terrible stuff the current version does?
Hopefully tomorrow. Thanks.
I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Whoever. It's fine. So I was going to say we were going to take it down a couple of degrees, but maybe we're not.
I actually did have something that I wanted to add on to last episode.
Great. Amendments. Let's go.
So last time we talked about generative AI and how it's functionally an intellectual property theft machine. Mm-hmm. And then later in the same episode, we also talked about pirating media.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to take a moment to kind of talk about the nuance of why I consider pirating in certain situations okay, or even morally correct and good, when I think that AI scraping and mining other people's intellectual property is despicable.
I mean, one is stealing something without fully knowing what you're stealing and claiming that it is your own. And the other is simply access to media that you might not have easy access to otherwise.
Right.
One is for consumption, whether or not you agree with the practice. One is actual intellectual property theft and, like, plagiarism.
Right. Someone else's intellectual property being chopped up and regurgitated for your own personal profit. There are situations where I don't think that piracy is particularly justified, because if there are things that you can afford to access, then I think you need to support the artists that made it, however you can.
Right.
If there are things that you are literally unable to access because of your region or because of your...
Honestly, I think mostly just because of the concept of lost media.
Right. And the lost media aspect is where I find that piracy goes from morally gray, it depends on the situation, to being no, this is unambiguously good. You need to preserve media, and with the digital infrastructure of most of our current society, there's a lot of stuff that would be lost forever if the internet just fully went down tomorrow.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty safe thing to say. If you are able to legally and ethically acquire a piece of art or media, pay your artists. That's our whole deal.
Yes.
And a lot of our conversation from the previous episode as well about the democratization of art. That's where this step comes in of like, if someone's art cannot be perceived or consumed for whatever the laundry list of reasons may be, it is almost always good, regardless of what the method is, to have a method to support and consume that art.
Yes. I also think that there is, and this is where some of the gray area stuff comes in. There are people who will say that if you are pirating my book to read, that is money that you are taking directly out of my pocket.
Right.
An argument that I have seen against that is that people will pirate things to read because they're using it like a library, and it's like, I want to read this before I spend $20+ on it. I want to know if it's good before I own it. I want to know if it's something that I feel passionately about. And if you feel passionately about something, to pirate it, there is a non-zero chance that you will then love it enough to go out and actually acquire
or spend
it.
money on the franchise or
Yeah.
whatever. That's a really interesting point about libraries, though.
Yes. Because libraries do purchase
Sure,
books,
of course they do,
but it's a sharing
it's a singular purchase
economy
that is then consumed by hundreds of or possibly thousands of people.
Unless we're talking about audiobooks. And this is a thing that I learned a few years ago through the wonderful people at the Chapel Hill Public Library, that audiobooks are not something that libraries can buy.
Oh.
Libraries essentially rent them. They buy a temporary license to acquire X number of copies of a particular audiobook. And that license will eventually run out. And so I was listening through the Temeraire series by Naomi Novik, which, shout out to my favorite series about dragons during the Napoleonic Wars. I feel like it might be the only one, but
I don't know.
I wouldn't mind if there was another one. Anyway, I was listening through the Temeraire series and I got up to book like 7 or something, and the library had all of the audiobooks in stock, and then they just didn't have this one. And I was like, hey, why is this? And it seems like a weird gap because you have the other ones. And this very lovely person at the library wrote back to me and said, we get the temporary license for these books, and because I offered to like buy a copy to donate to the library,
cool.
like I would love to support, I would love to buy an audiobook to donate to the library. And she was like, thank you. You can't actually do that. And that radicalized me in
I wonder when
so many ways against the kind of current model of you can't own this stuff, you're just renting it.
I really wonder when that started to be a thing, because I am not a huge audiobook consumer as an adult, but I was when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And I remember going and getting the CD set.
Right.
And so that obviously they did own.
Yes.
And so this is a like virtual rental that they offer?
Yeah.
It's
So,
files,
yeah,
not...
you get the audio file and it comes like straight to your device. Anybody who likes audiobooks or ebooks for that matter, the Libby app is awesome and I use it all the time. You need a library card and then you can link your library card to that and you get access to that library's entire digital catalog.
Wild.
Which means that sometimes when a book is new, you've got to wait a really long time. And it's like, hey, you are 25th in line, and the wait is probably going to be several months. But it is a really fantastic resource for people who either don't have the money to do something like Audible or don't want to support Amazon with something like Audible. Yeah, shout out to Libby and shout out to the Queer Liberation Library, which you do not actually have to have a physical library card for. You can sign up for a virtual library card with the Queer Liberation Library fully online, as far as I know, anywhere in the world. But
I did not know that.
yes, I only recently discovered this, and so all of their books are queer focused, obviously.
Sure.
And I've gotten some really great stuff through them. I got the most recent Chuck Tingle horror novel,
Of course,
through the Queer Liberation Library, which is dope. So shout out to Chuck Tingle, and
we'll let you Google it if you don't know.
oh, Lucky Day. Yeah, the book is called Lucky Day. I was going to say Bury Your Gaze, but I haven't read Bury Your Gaze yet. I'm still waiting to earn my spot in line for Bury Your Gaze. So that was a long diversion. And
Welcome to this podcast.
yeah.
We're derailed immediately. What do you think the people expect? Diversion. I think it's good for, yes, amendments, good. More conversation, good. Obviously, so much of the stuff that we talk about on here, but like especially the AI situation, and I think especially just the general conversation about how society interacts with art and media will always be an ongoing conversation because that's the world we live in now and we're artists, and so
Definitely.
it's gonna sort of bleed its way into everything for the foreseeable future, I would say.
Yeah.
So speaking of creating art, it's March. Whoa. When
is.
did that happen?
I don't know,
It actually happened yesterday.
and I don't care for it.
I also don't care for it. So, oh my God, there's so much happening. If you are locked into what we're doing here at Paradox Opera, you know that we are flying head first into our production of Next to Normal, which is running in Durham at the Fruit, April 17th, 18th, and 19th. We try very hard to make everything that we do accessible to as many people as humanly possible. This one, unfortunately, is very heavily copyrighted. So if you do want to see the show as a whole, you do have to be here in Durham to see the show. But we have kept our ticket prices as low as humanly possible because it is so important to me to bring down the barrier to access to theater.
Democratization of the arts,
That-
baby.
I honestly, I've got a friend who is very interested in having an in-depth conversation about ticket pricing and money surrounding theater.
That would be an
who-
excellent episode to
yeah,
have.
we've talked about that. Her name is Devra. She's amazing. She
Oh,
already
Devra,
knows.
yeah.
She already knows. So at some point, we'll have her in here and we'll have hopefully a really interesting and in-depth conversation about that with some really cool theater people. But that's what's actively happening in our sort of inside theater world. And we are going to get some of our Next to Normal team on here to give you as much of that access and content as possible if you are not here to be able to see the show.
Yeah.
Probably those episodes will also be coming out after the show because there's a lot of people we want to get on and we only do this every other week. But So that will be coming very soon. But it is March right now, and you know what that means, friends? March Madness!
Yeah!
Which I'm told has
Air
something
horn
to
noises.
do with sports, which I don't know what those are. So we're doing something very different.
We are doing a fundraiser competition.
And it's mad because we need to raise $25,000 in a month.
That is indeed mad. In the Hatter variety and not in the as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore variety.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Actually, yeah, it is a little bit of both. Fuck you, system. Don't tell me what I mean.
So tell the people your piece of the information of this, and then I will tell the people my piece of the information for this. What a helpful intro. I'm very helpful.
You are so helpful, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, next January, Paradox Opera is going to be premiering a completely new work that has been commissioned. It is a 2-act, unhinged comic operetta called The Genders of Gybberidge. It is about wizards and a wizard school, but not that one.
I don't know what you could possibly be talking about.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I speak in riddles.
Yeah.
I'm like a guard in a labyrinth whose twin sibling only tells the truth.
Well, now you gave the answer away.
I don't know.
You're the one who lies.
Damn it. I'm going to be thinking about this all night. I fucking hate that thought experiment. Because there was a time in my life where I did know the answer quickly and easily, but now I'm going on 38 years old, and the old gray matter doesn't work the way that it used to. Anyway, The Genders of Gybberidge is a story about a magic school where tradition and strict social rules are very important. And what happens when queer people come along to fuck up the natural order of society. And what happens when you have a magical eugenics program because everybody knows that boy wizards and girl wizards are only good for producing offspring. And
Gotta keep that blood pure.
yeah. And then what happens when, hey, our best sorceress is asexual? And what happens when, hey, this new transfer student that we've put into the manly men's dormitory wants to switch to the ladies' dormitory and suddenly demands to be called Eloise instead of Benjamin? And there's a lot to unpack with the series that I'm very clearly not talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to unpack there with the social dynamics and their version of representation for various
Sure.
underrepresented populations being not fucking great.
Yeah. If this were a thing that existed.
If this were a thing that existed.
Yeah.
And so the inspiration for this came from wanting to play in that space of if, for example, there were an author who was like, hey, I know I wrote a book series about friendship and being true to yourself and not being cowed by domineering authority figures who want to control your life in troubling ways. I'm actually going to side with the domineering authority figures who want to control your life.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really unfortunate if that was a thing that happened in the real world, and that
it really
idea, that entirely theoretical idea, resonated with me so much that I felt that I had to examine this concept in writing and in the form of a Gilbert and Sullivan homage.
If it wasn't clear, because I don't know that we've actually discussed this in depth on this podcast, so if it was not clear on here, and if you have not seen all of this stuff that we've been posting on our socials and our website, she is the librettist of this show.
I am writing the words, and our dear friend Vince Gover is writing the music.
Yes.
It is going to be an absolute delight, and it's also going to be expensive to produce.
Yes.
Which is where the other half of the messaging comes in, I think.
Yes, for this specifically. Yes. So we've already been running this fundraiser for the last several months, but we've got about a year to raise $100,000 to make this a reality. And why is it so expensive? Well, our mission is to make sure our artists are paid a living wage so that they can do their art with their own hands and not AI. See, we're always bringing it back.
That's true.
And there's so many moving parts to an opera. So we have to pay for the people to write the opera. We have to pay for the people who are on the stage. We also have to pay for the people making all of the art, the people behind the scenes, the marketing, the
venue.
Costuming, the venue. The list is long. There is actually on our website a simple breakdown of a lot of where these costs go and where we get this number, because I hate the idea that talking about money is taboo, and I think we should change that, because that is another deep conversation for another time. But the largest reason that specifically discussing pay is taboo is a tool to take advantage of people.
Exactly.
And allow companies to have pay disparities where there shouldn't be, because if you don't know that your colleague is being paid something different, then how can you fight for yourself? So that is something I very much do not believe in. Again, topic for another day, but like there's a lot of companies that
talk about your wages.
Well, there's a lot of companies that'll ask you to sign an NDA about your wages,
which I believe is illegal.
I unclear, but I know that there's places that do it. So we're very transparent about what we pay our artists and where this money goes. And honestly, I would love to be able to pay everyone a hell of a lot more than we do, but we are trying to find the balance of something that feels fair and livable and also doable. And so we've landed on $100,000, which is still a lot of money. So we're always trying to come up with ways that feel beneficial to our patrons, to feel like they're really getting something in return for their donations to us, other than the fact that we are a 501c3, so you get a tax break, but also something somewhat tangible other than
you gotta have perks,
knowing that you're doing a good thing, which I mean, that's great too.
Public radio gives out tote bags. We send out indulgences.
Yeah. So we have a massive campaign that we're running on a platform called Tiltify, where we have a ton of donation incentives that you can get for anywhere from $10 to $10,000. But this month, just for the month of March, we are trying to, a quarter of the way through the year, get to a quarter of our goal by the end of the month. And we thought a really fun way to do that, leaning into the sports aspect of this month, was to have a little friendly competition within our community. So we have a quartet of supporting characters in this opera that need names sooner than later.
Yeah.
And we could name them ourselves, but we thought it would be much more fun to have you name them.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that literally anyone can join the team fundraising campaign, create their own sub fundraiser on the campaign, and help us fundraise. And the top 4 fundraisers, not donors, fundraisers, at the end of the month will get to name these characters.
You will get naming rights. Names will have to be approved.
We'll give you, if you are one of those people, a sort of guidance package. And so, you know, you could name it after yourself. If you're a content creator, you could have your community come together on figuring out a name. There's a lot of
And
fun options.
that being said, I do want it to be very clear that we're not against a Bodie McBoatface situation. One of the main characters in the opera is literally named Jeremy Jockstrap III. So
we love a
you
good
can
pun.
get unhinged with it,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We probably won't let you name a character a slur or something
Or
like that.
Dickface McGee.
Actually, I don't know. I would really love it if
the tenor.
if the
the
soprano
mezzo.
comprimario role were named Miss Dickface McGee.
You could make it happen if you feel compelled.
And obviously, because of that last name, you know that Miss Dickface is Irish, which means that she obviously has a penchant for blowing shit up and being drunk all the time. Or at least that's how she would be represented in this alternate fictional series that does not exist.
So she actually would feel much more at home in House Sex Pest.
Yeah, maybe she should transition.
Yeah, maybe. So if you are unfamiliar with the platform, we figured it could be helpful to just have a little mini crash course of information on here. So you do not need to be a content creator to do this. You can run around on the street and yell at people and give them a cookie and ask them for money. I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
You just need to...
All you need is the willingness and desire to help fund a honestly groundbreaking new queer opera.
More on the groundbreaking in a moment. But all you need to do if you want to participate in this competition is go to, I believe we have a landing page on our website now that actually has links to make this all helpful, which we'll link in the show notes. You will go to the Global Tiltify Paradox Opera page for the Genders of Gybberidge, join the team, and create your own sub fundraiser so that your name can be on our leaderboard so that we can keep track of the things.
Mm-hmm.
We have all of these really fun incentives on our page. Those are all also accessible to you. So if you wanted to turn those on your personal campaign and say, hey, you're helping me win this competition, but you can still get all these same cool things, that is something that you are able to do. You can run around on the street and ask people for money. You can stream on Twitch with lots of fun integrations. There is truly no limit to what you can do other than your own willingness and creativity. It can be a single event. It can be a month-long event. We do not have any expectations. The idea behind it is that it can be as light of a lift for everyone as possible with maximum effect. So unlike our raid train before, which we will do again in the fall, there's no big massive schedule. We don't have to coordinate a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
There's no stress on you for scheduling. There's no specifics of expectation of content involved with it. We just want people to be excited and help us get as many people to know about this as possible.
Yes.
And in turn, get to be an integral part, literally and literally, of making this happen. So,
and not to be one of those you can get paid in exposure kind of people, because we very much do need the money, but another benefit of this is just getting this concept in front of other people.
As many people as possible.
As many people as possible.
Yeah.
Even if they don't donate,
Right.
more people knowing about this is good. Especially if they are really into the concept and want to talk about it to other people and spread the word.
Exactly.
But also if the concept really pisses them off and they want to call us slurs on the internet.
We can take it.
Yeah. Because you know what?
The haters
Buzz is
are
buzz.
great press. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, if one person who's really excited about it tells 10 people, and each of those 10 people tell 5 people, and then each of those 5 people tell 5 more people.
And a train leaves Boston at
Right.
3:05 p.m.
Then
and
we
another
raise
train leaves
$100,000.
Chicago. And this is obviously fake because we don't have trains in America anymore.
I mean, we have Amtrak, but is it that useful?
No. No, it's fucking not.
It's expensive and it's slow, and it doesn't go all the places you want to go.
Yeah.
Cries forever. And that's how you know we're all neurodivergent, because it always comes back to trains.
It always comes back to trains. You know, I do love a good transportation network. It's accessibility. It's a question of accessibility.
You know who really loves trains? Our visual artist for the Genders of Gybberidge.
Gemma?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Or CHIMI is her artist name.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah. She loves trains, and also art, and also gay shit.
Yeah.
So support trans artists and trans rights.
Yeah. So we mentioned that this was groundbreaking, and I think it's probably important to expand on that a little bit.
So, to the best of our knowledge and research, this opera hits a lot of firsts, which is sad but important. So, there are a couple of operas that already exist that have gotten some notoriety that focus on trans characters and trans issues. And by some, I mean 2.
What's the other one?
As One and Lily Elbe.
Oh, that's right.
So, As One by Mark Campbell, the librettist, and
Kaminsky?
Yes.
Is it Linda?
Lauren Kaminsky is the composer of As One, which came out quite a while ago. I want to say it was over a decade ago. Was the first major operatic piece to focus specifically on a story of a transgender person. I personally have a huge issue with this opera, but that's a story for another day. So it exists. It helped pave the way. Mm-hmm. It is not super long. I think it's a 1-act. No, it's not a one. It's like a chamber opera. So it's 2 acts, but it's short.
Right.
I think it's like maybe 90 minutes long.
Okay.
And it is fictional, but sort of everyday life fictional. Mm-hmm. Then just last year, we have by Tobias Picker, Lily Elbe, which is a true story of a Danish painter who was one of the first historical figures to have gender-affirming surgery.
Oh, cool.
And that's really an exciting piece of theater that is happening. He wrote the piece for Lucia. I'm going to blank on her last name, the singer that was the lead, that Tobias, the composer, heard this spectacular trans baritone and was like, I'm writing a show for her, which as an old white man is pretty cool.
That's, yeah.
Like, honestly,
woke as fuck.
Huge shout out to Tobias Picker. I have not had the opportunity to meet him, but everything I know about him, he seems like a really cool dude. And
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Also, both As One and Lily Elbe do have full pro shots on YouTube. So if you're interested in seeing those things, I will provide links to those as well. Mm-hmm. So we have a piece that is centered around a trans character that is fictional, but everyday. We have a piece that is centered around a trans character that is non-fictional. Oh, there's another word I was going for there, but
historical?
I don't know what it was. Anyway, now what we're doing here is none of those things. Well, it's fictional. The other important thing, I didn't say this.
The thing about As One.
I'm like, oh, I guess this
is kind of important.
Yeah, this is part of the reason that I have beef with this opera. So in As One, the main character is played by 2 different actors, pre and post transition. It's a trans woman. So I fucking hate that a lot. So in the beginning, it is played by allegedly, however you cast it, a cis man or someone with a baritone voice.
Yes.
And then in the second act, it is played by someone with a mezzo-soprano voice who is frequently a cis woman. Mm-hmm. And I personally have a huge problem with that because it's incredibly fucking disingenuous, because you can't change your voice like that. That's not how
That's not
science.
how it works.
Right.
When you are
It does in the other
male
direction.
to female.
Right. If you're transitioning to man and taking testosterone, then your body and your voice will go through testosterone-based puberty. Your larynx will tilt, the folds thicken. That's how science. You can't undo that. Your larynx does not untilt.
Right.
So
which
once
is
that
why
has happened,
puberty blockers
right,
are such an important thing for trans youth.
right,
Because
to prevent that from
that
happening.
delays the onset of this testosterone-based puberty
That is irreversible.
that you just don't come back from. And you can voice train and you can
Right.
do all kinds of things.
Right.
But it is
You
a
don't suddenly,
physiological
right. Like you
change.
don't suddenly go back to having a prepubescent voice.
Yeah.
So obviously girls go through puberty too, but the way that our larynxes change is very, very different and much less dramatic than if you have testosterone. So I find it really disingenuous to do that in a representation for a lot of reasons. Because one, it then just spreads more misinformation, because the number of people I've met that didn't know, that have said to you or have said to me about you, oh my God, your voice is so beautiful. Please don't fuck it up. Which, like, I have a huge problem with that on so many levels. But, like, honey, nothing's gonna happen. Her taking estrogen has done nothing to her voice.
Yep, I still sound like this.
Yeah, I know, you know, it's like not beating the tenor allegations, but like,
Yeah.
I think that has more to do.
That has more to do with me aging, I think.
I think it has more to do with the fact that it's something you're being asked to do more. I could be wrong, but what I know about you and your voice, I don't think that's a thing that would happen if you weren't being asked to do that in choir.
Yeah,
know?
although I'm not being asked to do it in choir a whole lot anymore.
Not now, but you were for a minute.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
anyways, I digress. There might be some minor changes, but the tilt is never going away. The thickening is never going away.
I'm thick, and I'm going to stay that way.
And, you know, I really should give this to you to talk about because you're the one experiencing it. But
What?
there's a lot of people.
Are we going to let trans people talk about their own experiences?
Crazy, right?
That sounds like some woke nonsense.
But there's a lot of people, and I think probably more or so singers than your average person, who, like Lucia too, who like their voice and don't want to change their voice. That, like, changing your voice doesn't have anything to do with your gender expression. And I think that perpetuating that, especially in how we're platforming it in theater, is harmful.
Yeah. I, as a singer, as someone who has a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in singing, I have spent a great deal of time and money on being able to use my voice in a particular way. And I understand that I have different feelings from some other trans people. And, like, you know, life is a rich tapestry and everybody has their own experiences. And for some people, their voice is a huge source of dysphoria.
Right.
For me, when I am speaking, I will occasionally make some minor changes to feminize it a bit. But honestly, I like my voice. I like the way that it sounds. I like its flexibility when I'm speaking, and the fact that I can do things to, like, butch it up or sound a little more feminine. But also, I think I'm a damn good singer. And I've worked a very long time to understand how to use my instrument inside my body. And I don't want to give that up. It's become a part of my identity that's very important to me.
And that doesn't make you any less of a woman.
Correct. I have complicated feelings, unsurprisingly, about gender shit in general.
Sure.
And I understand that I am a lot more laid back about certain things than a lot of trans people are.
Sure.
It just comes down, I think, to a difference in life experience and a difference in what actually gets under your skin. And
I think age is a part of it.
Yeah, I think age and life experience and the fact that I'm a whole ass adult with children and having worked professionally and in a variety of places, it's just like, girl, I got bills to pay. I got kids to raise. If somebody says he instead of she, like, it's not gonna ruin my fucking day. There are some people for whom it does, and I don't mean to say that they're shallow or should just, like, get over it or something, because everybody has their own journey to go through. But for me, I am comfortable with a fair number of people hearing my voice and assuming that I am a cis man, because I know how I sound, and I've worked very hard to get that sound. And
my favorite is still the people who thought you were a cis woman.
God
and just
bless.
Had the most like
yes,
iconic like.
I did have possibly the most like, he's a little confused, but he's got the spirit.
Yeah.
Reaction
really
of anything
iconic.
That this person heard me sing a solo at church and was being very effusive with their praise after the service, and he finally said something along the lines of, you know, I've heard a countertenor before, which is traditionally like a assigned male at birth person who is singing in a traditionally female register.
Right.
So he's like, I've heard of countertenors, but, you know, I had never heard of a counter soprano, or what would you call yours? And I was like, oh my God, this dude thinks that I am a cis woman
in a church
who just sings like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I
mean, they're out there.
Fuck it.
Rare, but they're out there.
Yeah. Like, and I'm not even saying this to be self-deprecating, because I like the way I look. But, like, your girl's clocky. You can tell, and I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to pass. I'm just trying to be me. But it does tickle me a little bit when somebody assumes that I am a cis woman, especially when someone persists in thinking that I'm a cis woman after hearing me be like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
It's
great.
Great.
So, all that to say, there is an infinite number of experiences.
Yes.
And obviously, no, we're not going to represent every single one of those experiences in a single theatrical medium. But I do think that this one in particular, the way that As One is handled, is more harmful than good.
Yeah, I think it is well-intentioned,
Yes.
but ultimately done in a way that I would say most trans people would probably be like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
I cannot remember what play it's from, but there's a monologue that I heard approximately 85% of my musical theater classmates in college do at some point over the course of the 4 years. And it's from the point of view of this person who was an unattractive child, and they get cast as the Ugly Duckling in a school play. The character is an adult now, and they're remembering this thing that happened in their childhood, and everybody was shunning her because of her looks, but she was really excited because she was going to get to come out and be the swan at the end, and everybody would see her as beautiful, but they went with a different child. She was the ugly part of the Ugly Duckling, and they got a different child to come out as the swan.
That's messed up.
It is easy to see why so many people do this monologue, because there's a lot of real emotional depth that you can get out of it. And it kind of became a meme because everybody fucking does it at some point. And so it's like, oh yeah, you're doing the Ugly Duckling monologue. But that's when I think about as one, like that's what I think about.
Yeah.
That there's this idea that you can't represent yourself in both the before and the after.
Yeah.
Even though like that is every trans person's lived experience.
Right.
You are the before and the after.
Right.
And
I think
that's
there's some stuff outside of the voice too, like just in that is problematic. That I think that people who end up bigoted think that they don't understand. If you haven't actually like met a trans person,
yeah.
there's something that seems to get stuck in certain people's heads, that they think that they're just suddenly a different person. It's like, oh no, the person I know has died. It's this weird big drama for some
Looking at
people.
you, Elon.
Right.
Fuck you.
And that's simply not true at all, ever.
Yeah.
And I would say this is probably a universal statement. Anyone who has come out as trans and begun any kind of transition journey, the only thing that has changed is that they're not hiding who they are from you anymore. And from themselves anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
Who you are at your core hasn't changed. The things you like haven't changed. The experiences you've had with people in the past haven't changed. I don't know why people think those things suddenly go away.
yeah, the things don't go away. It can be a switching a lens moment where experiences that you thought of one way are suddenly cast in a completely different light when you understand something about yourself or about another person who has just come out. And that was my experience, that there was a lot of stuff from my childhood and adolescence that I had assumed was to do with the Catholic thing and
Right.
not actual, like, really gnarly dysphoria.
Right. But that's you rather than
Yeah.
the people surrounding you.
Right. I would say that I am still the same person, but I also have changed, and like I
Sure.
still have all of the same experiences, but certain things that have happened will suddenly mean something different than they
Sure.
used to.
Sure.
And
Sure. But the person you were when you were 15 isn't dead.
yes, unless you want to go about it from the point of view of everyone is constantly dying and
Right.
being reborn,
We all have new cells every 7 years.
in
and
which case it's not just a trans thing. Like,
an everyone thing.
everyone's 15-year-old self is dead,
Right.
unless you're 15 right now.
Right. Everyone grows and changes
Yes.
and evolves. And we
Yeah.
hope to do that in a way that we're all better people every day. So yeah, shouldn't be unique to the trans experience anyways.
Yeah.
But it's not like someone has suddenly died and a new person has been reborn from their ashes.
Correct.
I mean, maybe some people think about it that way.
I mean, listen, if you're trans and you want to think of yourself as a glorious phoenix, I support you.
Yeah.
I see you. That's metal as fuck. So, yeah, you do you. That's really what Genders of Gybberidge is all about. You have to find what works for you. And that's going to be different for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, for everyone.
Right.
And you alluded to the fact earlier, and by alluded, I mean you specifically said it explicitly, that we can't cover every experience.
Right.
We can't represent everyone's journey. But I do want to say that the Genders of Gybberidge, as it exists, is very true to my experience.
I think that's really the core of it. That, right, we can't represent every journey, but what I want us to be representing and what I think is the most beneficial thing to represent is things that are based in real people's experiences. And going back to the other thing, it's like, that's literally not a possible real experience.
Yes.
And so, again, yes, I think the intention behind it is probably good, but that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
So, the reason this was important to talk about, that I was like, oh, I don't want to talk about that, but oh shit, we have to talk about that. Okay, right. So we're doing several things that we are as confident as it is possible to be are happening on the operatic stage for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are having an asexual protagonist, hard stop.
Boom.
It's never happened in any opera ever that I have been able to research.
Right.
And I have done in-depth research.
Openly, canonically asexual.
Yeah, that it's not just like we can insinuate that. It's actively part of her story. And
the word is used.
yeah, and that it's being explored from a lot of angles, but at the end of the day is not being used as something that's wrong with her.
Right. It's not a hurdle to overcome.
Right. And exploring that experience and that character's relationships and how those things look different than your typical heterosexual relationship, but aren't worse or less valuable or less intense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of exploration about different kinds of queer relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. And then our transgender protagonist.
There's a lot of qualifiers on this one.
This is the first full-length opera of fictional content that features a transgender protagonist that is played by the same actor throughout the whole show. So
hell yeah, dude.
That's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. That, again, to the best of our knowledge, that has never happened before. There's plenty of trans actors who have played a character for the whole show, but that character isn't transgender.
Yeah, and that's not even getting into the question of whatever the fuck is going on with mezzo pants rolls.
You know, it's so funny. I've heard chatter in the past from your standard opera patron, like little old ladies,
Mm-hmm.
who have problems with pants rolls. And it's the funniest thing to overhear a conversation between two like 80-something-year-old little ladies just being like, why was that girl playing a boy? It's just so offensive.
Mildred, my sister in Christ, it's been done that way for hundreds of years.
The way my jaw was on the floor when I was at the movie theater seeing the Met simulcast of Clemenza di Tito.
Oh, yep.
Like over a decade ago. And these two little old ladies are like bitching about this during an intermission. And then they left.
God bless. Good fucking riddance. I was going to say Clemenza isn't my favorite Mozart opera. Clemenza doesn't even make the top 5.
Most people don't even know it exists.
But that's some fake fan bullshit.
They were so
of like,
upset.
what do you mean there's women playing men? What kind of woke nonsense is this? It's like somebody saying, oh yeah, what do you mean like all art is political? I bet you think RoboCop is political. And it's like,
This
yes,
was literally
actually.
Probably in like 2012 or 2013.
oh
Isn't that
my
crazy?
God. That is such a moment of you are exposing your ignorance of the art form.
Yeah.
You don't have to like it, and you don't have to understand why it became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that is at least something that if you are into opera, you should know that sometimes the role of a young man
Yeah.
frequently is played by
A grown-ass woman.
a grown-ass woman.
Yeah.
And speaking of Mozart, sometimes you get something like Cherubino, who is a pants roll. So you've got a grown-ass woman, generally, who's a mezzo-soprano,
Yeah.
playing a currently adolescent boy with all of his raging hormones, who is then force-femmed by the Countess. He is...
No, it's Barbarina.
Well, no, but the Countess and Susanna dress him up in women's clothing. And then later he does it with Barbarina
Yeah.
too. That he's like going undercover.
Yeah.
as a peasant girl. But so it's like multiple layers of gender fuckery. And even though it's not explicitly trans, I feel represented by this disaster slut, dumpster fire, trash pile of a pimple-faced human being being like, who knows what's going on? I don't know what's going on. Gender is fake. And I'm just here to make passes at my boss and somehow still get treated like it's charming.
I don't know the full history of the evolution of the pants roll, but I think it's actually probably one of the less problematic things in the history of opera because it allows you to have the representation of a prepubescent boy on stage without actually using a child.
Yeah. Certain roles nowadays are cast as pants roles or as countertenors when they originally would have been sung by a castrato.
Sure.
And from a musicological perspective, I don't know how accurate it would be to say that like the pants role tradition grew out of the declining castrato tradition.
I think it's a combination of that.
I would say it's related.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of that and also again like not relying on literal children. So like yes, there are some operas that have roles written for literal children, but you would never, I don't think, have, for example, Cherubino or the kid in Romeo and Juliet. There's a pants role, right?
the page boy. It's always a fucking page boy.
Right. That role by
a little lad who loves berries and cream.
But so, Mozart, Gounod, the little page in Don Carlo in Verdi, right?
Oh shit, that's a different Verdi than I was going to say Ballo in Maschera.
But, we go these later.
It's always a fucking page boy.
But you would, I don't think, ever have a countertenor sing those roles. You would have a countertenor sing the pants roles in Handel operas.
Right.
And so I think that there is really a distinct connection to some combination of the decline of the castrato tradition as well as wanting to make it clear that it's a young boy without having to work with an actual young boy.
Yeah. It's a very interesting practice in opera, but it's also not rare.
Yeah.
And so it is wild to hear talk of people being mad about it.
I mean, hell, we still do it today.
Yeah.
This is not pants rolls are not a dead tradition.
Yeah. Rosenkavalier, baby.
Well, Strauss is very dead.
Oh, as in there are still roles written for pants.
Correct.
Pants roles being written today.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I just thought you meant like part of the operatic canon.
No, like opera is still being written. Oh my God. There are living opera composers.
What?
And it's
a living, breathing art form?
Yeah.
Fuck
I don't
off.
think it's as common anymore, but it absolutely does still happen. It's not a thing that's like, oh, we don't do that anymore. Like, it's not a problematic thing.
Sometimes you just gotta get a little non-binary with it.
Yeah. So.
I'm Gwen Hyland, and I approve this message.
Yeah. So that's the spiel. I think that those are really the two things that we're very confident are firsts. And
I'm also pretty confident that this is the first time an opera has had a dumpster fire closeted gay man sing a patter aria about all the boys in his house that he wants to fuck.
Probably. I would have to do some research on that. I haven't done research on that.
It's possible that Benjamin Britten has something in an unreleased folio somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
That was very funny. If you know who Benjamin Britten was. If you don't, just take my word for it.
Or Google it.
I'm hilarious.
There's several composers that I would believe would have that. Either actually fully released, David Del Tredici. May he rest in peace. Like, my favorite penis poems exists, girl.
Hell yeah.
So.
But that's a song cycle.
Sure.
Rather than an opera.
Sure.
So.
That's true. But the gays are out here.
The gays are indeed out here.
And they're writing classical music.
It is the thing that the queers are known for.
Yeah. So Anyways, give us your money, please.
This has been the weirdest public radio pledge drive you have ever heard.
This is now a call-a-thon.
Yeah,
Please,
call in. Call with your questions.
please comment on our posts and also give us your money.
Give us your fucking money.
Thank you.
Or even better, go out there
And get other people. Yes.
to give us
Yeah.
their money on your behalf.
Yeah.
So you can get put in our fucking March Madness bracket.
Yep.
Because when we get enough people, I'm gonna do a bracket.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do it. I'm probably going to do it maybe weekly on my stream.
Hell yeah.
So get in the comments. And by the comments, I mean the competition. Ments.
That was a stretch. I loved that. I loved every second of that.
What's new on here? Nothing. 0 things are new.
Nothing new under the sun.
So I think that's our spiel for the day. Thanks for coming on this weird journey with us. Do write to us, email us, comment on things, shoot us DMs if you know us, if you want more information that we didn't cover today or that's not on our page.
Yeah.
Help us be crazy and raise a fuck ton of money this
Yeah,
month.
give us questions to answer or expound upon at great fucking length in its Fandom of the Opera podcast at gmail.com.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's a long one.
Send us your fucking questions or comments or hate
concerns.
mail. I am fueled by spite. Both of us are fueled by spite. So please, if you've got hate mail, send it our way, baby.
Woo!
Woo!
You've been listening to Phantom of the Opera. The music you heard at the beginning and end of the podcast is an excerpt from Calling for Jane by Rachel Dean and Aaron Reifler. You can find us on social media, me at Divatron9000 on everything.
And me at Barrett Owned on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky.
So everything.
Yeah, I guess.
This episode is supported in part by our incredible patrons on Patreon, including Cindy, Chuck, and Olive. If you would like to join our Patreon family, there are so many options available from free all the way up to a lot of money.
You should give it to us.
If you have questions, topic ideas, or anything at all you would like to share with us, please email us at fandomoftheoperapodcast@gmail.com. If you like what you've been hearing, please remember to subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platform. Rate us 5 stars, write us a review, leave us a comment. Anything at all helps us reach more excitable listeners and bring more people into our Paradox Opera family. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.